Greetings, foolish mortals. Welcome to a special holiday edition of Haunt Talk. Today we will be reviewing Castle Blood's spooky little Cryptmas haunted house.
So, again, we have went to this one for the 2019's regular season. So make sure you watch that review. But I'm not going to get crazy into detail about what makes this place different, but we'll lead with that. This isn't a normal haunted house where it's more like an interactive play, almost like an escape room kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different than a normal haunted house. And they have a whole story, and you go from room to room, and yeah. So that's kind of the thing. It's different than normal haunted houses. You should watch the review from the actual year as well. But, so this one story is that, we were elves learning, or no, that's right, they were prepping us to be elves.
Yeah.
To like go spy on Santa because they need his magic or something like that.
Yeah, they want to steal Santa's magic and they are training us to be elves, yeah. That's pretty much the theme. So we had to like learn all these things that elves have to do, like pack Santa's sleigh and know how to wrap presents.
You know that? So that brings us into sets and props. So, because you said that, and I'm like, well, I'll talk about that in the category. So, for sets and props, we gave them a 9, just as an overall. It's what the place is like, just kind of like in general. But what's more important here is the holiday theme. Because, obviously, the whole point of this is to be themed as Christmas. The entire story is themed as Christmas. And the thing you brought up, and my biggest complaint about this event was, like, a lot of the interactions in, like, the games weren't that great.
Yeah.
But you said, like, why wasn't that a thing we had to do? We should have had to wrap something or something.
Yeah.
That should have been, like, a game that we had to play or something. Like, wrap stuff within a time limit or something.
Yeah.
So maybe if you do something like that, future reference. Now, there were some cool ones. I'm not saying it was, like, bad or anything. Like, well, as you saw for the packing Santa's sleigh, we had to, like, pretty much play basketball with a Santa hat.
Yeah. They had a big, I think it was a sack. A Santa sack, and then we had.
Oh yeah, it was a little mini sack. Yeah.
Yeah, they gave us stuffed animals, and we had to throw it into the sack.
Yep, nice little stuffed animals, cute. So I think everyone's the same. Was it little teddy bear? It's a little teddy bear.
They were teddy bears and other things.
Okay.
I had a teddy bear. Yeah, it was fun. Mine bounced off the back of the fireplace. Into the basket.
There was. We had to write. One of the people had to write a letter. They had to write a letter back to this boy, and they did a little magic trick thing. So that one is cool.
Yeah.
Trying to think of some other ones. The one where you had to. It was like this whole puzzle where you had to figure out what reindeers were going to be where and like what beside one another.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of things. And those are like the 3 that I really thought were well thought out and put together. There was one that was kind of cool. It was kind of like a trivia that we had to do. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, the elf trivia was cool.
But there's quite a few, definitely more so than the regular one, where it was just kind of like, they just kind of talked for a minute and then sent you on your way. Like, it really wasn't a game or a puzzle, they just kind of talked for a second. And then there's one where they had us throw snowballs at these bells on the ceiling, and that one just kind of, I don't know, that one I wasn't too big of a fan of.
Yeah, it was kind of hard, like, honestly.
Yeah, I just think we were all really bad. Yeah, because none of us hit it. No, there's 7 of us in the group that got sent in.
He did actually hit it, but he didn't hit it enough to like
ring it. So
make
it didn't matter.
ring,
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that was my only real complaint. Is I was kind of hoping that the games would be be more. But there's so many scenes that I was just hoping that like there'd be a little bit more. I guess a little more Christmassy.
Yeah. They did have an entire area, the cemetery scene that they have.
That was cool.
It was called Ginger Dead Lane.
And we were allowed to take pictures for that, so I will insert pictures here.
Yeah, and they had various gingerbread of horror icons, let's just say. So there was like, Mikael Myers. I'll say it that way, just because he didn't like saying it Michael.
Yes, God, if you ever seen the show or the movie What We Do in the Shadows, this place is basically just that. It's ridiculous. It's great.
They did have a gingerbread dead that looked like Peter.
Yeah, Peter. Well, it's supposed to look like Nosferatu, but
it was
Peter's based
Orloff,
off of that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was a really cool little section. Like I said, overall, the sets and props were pretty good. We just wanted the games to be a little better, and maybe a little more holiday themed in some areas. Like, for example, the Spider Queen, and then the Witch after that. Like, they said kind of holiday stuff, but there really wasn't much holiday theming in those areas.
Yeah, I know. They had, like, a few, like, ornaments hanging from the
Right.
nooses. Because if you've been there in the witch area, there's, like, nooses in that part of the game. And they had, like, some stuff, like, hanging on them.
Right.
But you didn't have to do anything with them.
And I mean, I understand there's only so much time. And they did, like, there were some cool Christmas trees. Like, they had a whole bunch of, like, spooky themed Christmas tree. Like, I remember the one in the lab had organs on it. It was like an organ Christmas tree. So yeah, but for holiday theming, for sets and props, we gave them an 8. It was really good. Like I said, there's just a little bit to be desired as far as the games and a couple decorating of the scenes goes.
Yeah.
So that brings us into actors. The actors were really good as usual. Now, since this is a special thing and they probably didn't have much time to practice, there were some stumbling of the lines and stuff like that we saw. And there was one time it was really weird. They sent us into like the next section, but the person wasn't ready yet, so we just kind of had to like awkwardly figure out what to do. There was no one like to, and it's going into the lab. They sent us into like, it's like a dining room, and then you go to the lab, but there's no one in the dining room. We're like, where do we go? And then went to the lab, and they still had another group of people in there, and so we just kind of all kind of just stood around, or like, where do we go, kind of thing. But besides that, the actors were really good. It was kind of cool if they switched them up. Like, they weren't all in the same areas.
Yeah, because, like, the very sarcastic maid, or very unenthusiastic maid, she actually was the one that did the snowballs with the bells.
Ophelia, I think was her name, I believe. Something like that.
Something like that. And then, like, another girl was at the beginning when she was, like, I think in the cemetery or something like that before. And, yeah, they switched up some people, and, like, they even said, like, normally I'm not in this area, but they decided, you know, I snuck in here, and so they were, like, playing it off like, you know, normally this isn't my area to be in, but, you know, since it's the holidays, I'm here.
So that was kind of cool, yeah.
Yeah.
So for regular actors, we gave them a 9.5. Now, for holiday theming, so it was good. Like I said, they had their story about the elves and stuff like that. Like I said, some of them kind of like, it seemed like they kind of forgot what they were supposed to say a couple of times here and there. And there's a couple things that didn't quite like make that much sense, I guess, to what they were saying about the stuff. I don't know. Like, I know, for example, the guy that was doing like this, the letters for the kid. There was some like some of the stuff he was saying. I was just kind of like, huh? Like, I kind of was losing me, like what they were trying to convey, I guess.
Oh, yeah, because he wasn't, like... It was basically he wasn't even supposed to be in there, and they just called him last minute because somebody called off or something like that. It's basically, like, the thing. So he was kind of, like, playing with the whole thing like he didn't really know what he was supposed to do, but he was doing it anyway, kind of thing. Yeah. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, but that's the only complaint is some of the dialogue was just a little confusing, I guess, as to what was going on. But for the holiday theme, we gave it a 9 for actors. And that was the other thing, that none of the actors really, none of them dressed up, well, okay, not none of them. Majority of them didn't really dress up too much holiday themey. They just kind of had like a hat on or something. But they're supposed to be vampires.
Yeah, well, so... that one, the one that was the in the library at the end, the one that said, "You found my loophole." She was decked out.
Oh, some of them were.
She was decked out.
She
actually was really adorable, like the costume she had on, and like, yeah, a few of them had like something, like a little bit of something, but like.
But I understand why they weren't, because again, they're supposed to be vampires that don't really, so that part doesn't really fit the whole theme.
Right.
So some of them did, but the majority of them were just kind of like...
And like the vampires that were outside, and the ghouls that were outside, they actually had some stuff, because like the guy that was like controlling the line, he actually had a Christmas hat on. And then, what was it? The one guy said that he took he found this hat in a pile of water and a carrot. You know what that means. So he had this little top hat on that was like festive.
That's funny.
And then, yeah, like most everybody else really didn't have anything else.
Right.
Like,
but like I said, I understand why.
But yeah, I mean, they're vampires. They can do what they want.
So if you saw a review in October time, Halloween time, For Scare Factor, we didn't rate them. We're not going to rate them again. We will state though that in the Halloween one, they did actually have some jump scares. There's a couple. There's like 2 sections. Like one I know is being in the crypts, where they actually do have actors and hiding spots that do jump out at you. Mm-hmm. That is not prevalent in this one. There's no one in those areas to jump out and scare you or anything like that.
Yeah,
which
they have some drop panels and some animatronics that jump out and stuff like that during the season, but they were not on for this.
Right, which I guess probably makes sense, because I think they wanted to make this one a little more family friendly, because in Halloween they have a daytime show for families, and then they have a nighttime show that's a little more intense. But there's just the nighttime show for this one. So like I said, Scare Factor, that's not their goal here, so that's why we don't rate it that. So value, it's $20 to get in. It took us about, what does it take us? About 50 minutes to an hour to go through the whole
I think
thing.
it took about 55, something like that.
Yeah, so we did give value, the same as we did in October. We gave it a 10. $20 for that length of a haunt and for that much entertainment and all the different stuff you get to do is really great.
Yes, and you get to keep some of the stuff you get, and you do get little prizes at the end. One of the things that we did have to do was we had to collect 3 iconic things in our quest to become an elf in our elf training, and it was a poinsettia, a star, and an icicle. And once we received those things, whoever got it, like, pretty much got to keep it. So I actually got the star. That's me, the star. And then at the end of the thing, once you finished your training to become an elf, you did get a candy cane and a set of fangs.
Right.
Which
so you're a vampire.
they give the fangs during the Halloween season as well. Right. That is your reward as you become a vampire. You get fangs. Yeah.
You get cool little trinkets.
Yeah. It's fun. What was it? The one guy got a little box, and it turned out that the whole time, the whole quest was just to keep this box safe and not open it.
Yeah. That was the only part that actually mattered, I guess.
Yeah, which was dumb. It was just a little box with some stickers in it, but it was, like, kind of funny, because, like, he basically was told, do not open it, and he didn't until the end, and they told us, don't open it again until you get out of here or whatever, and it just turned out to be, like, a little box of stickers. Yep, but it was funny, because it was like, oh, we didn't have to do all this stuff, we just had to keep this box safe. Right. But, yeah, so that was kind of fun. So, for overall, we did give them a 9.
And as we've said for each of these reviews for the holiday ones, you're not going to be able to go this year.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they do it next year, because I believe they do it like every year, because they've been doing, not every year, but they've been doing it for a while, because they asked us have we ever done one of the Cryptmas events before, and this is only our second time being there, so no. So definitely, if you're watching this in 2020, make sure to make it out there. Yes. It is worth it, and it is a lot of fun. And it's a nice way to get in the holiday spirit without being overly annoyed by joy, because there's joy and spookiness. It's the best way to enjoy Christmas, is with it being dampered down with spook. But that does it for this episode. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, leave a comment. Did you go there? What did you think about it? Also make sure to like us on Facebook so that you see any posts and stuff like that we make. And we might have some other holidays-themed events possibly coming up. We're not 100% sure. But, But just keep an eye on the channel, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.